Well, welcome to the Tonight Show. I'm your host, Mike Caple. Thank you so much for joining in. As always, just want to remind you if there's anything at all that you need, we are here for you. We're just a call or text away. Let us know, and we will try our absolute best to help you in any way that we can. Also, just want to remind you if you enjoy these shows, do us a favor, share these with your friends, let them know about it. And our hope is that we can continue just to get this message out to as many people as possible. And you play a huge part in that. So thank you for those of you that have shared about us. We want to encourage you to continue to do that. Well, on tonight's show, we've got a very special show going on. As many of you know, the COVID-19 coronavirus is looking very positive. It's looking like we are taking the steps to get back to our normal life and everybody's being safe. With that, and because of that, we thought it would be great to do a flashback episode where we look back at some of the best moments of the Tonight Show during quarantine, during this COVID-19 crisis. And so let's take a moment and let's look back at some of the best memes during this time. Check it out.
And then this one is actually really great. Yeah, I'm just going to show it to you. Coming out of quarantine like this. Hopefully you don't let your eyebrows get that bad. Please use some tweezers or something in the meantime to do that. All right, ready for this one? It says, me seeing hand soap shelves empty in stores, wondering why people haven't been washing their hands until now. Yes, I think that's something that many of us have been wondering and trying to figure out, especially you germaphobes out there. I myself have been wondering, why have people not been washing their hands during this time? And the other thing that I realized is all of those of you that bought up all the hand sanitizer and hand soap from everybody else, don't you realize that there are other people in this world that also need to wash their hands?
And then lastly, but not least, this is actually my favorite one of the group. I think there's so many times that this has been pulled out and used against me. And I just want to let you guys know that as a youth pastor, I had it right all along. This one says, when your youth pastor had it right all along, leave room for Jesus. That's right. Your youth pastor and all the other youth pastors in the community had it right from the very beginning. We had social distancing down before it was even a thing. I think this is just absolutely hilarious. And it says, well, thank goodness the virus can't move sideways. If you're not, and that is what you're doing, you might end up just like this. And again, we're looking forward to being able to be back in church with everybody. And this one right here, our very last one for today, says, me trying to fit back into my church clothes after quarantine. There you go. Just like the roll of crescent rolls when it explodes. So hopefully that is not you trying to fit back into your church clothes. And moving right along, though, because I know, again, many of you are ready for our country to open up, our county, our cities, all of those things to be open up. And so if that's you, I just want to point this one out to you. For everyone saying America won't reopen, remember, Jurassic Park opened 5 times, and that was after people were eaten alive. 5 times. So if Jurassic Park can open up, surely America can bounce back from this. Surely we can open back up our doors. So let that one just, kind of register with you. Well, we hope you enjoyed that little flashback to some of our best memes from during this time of quarantine. At this time, though, we're going to send it over to Katy for a little segment that we call Katy's Content. Take a look.
This week, I want you to read in the book of Joshua, chapter 6. Joshua is the leader of the Israelites, and he's leading God's people into the land that he promised them. They come to a city named Jericho, where the people were scared of the Israelites, and so nobody was allowed in or out of this city. But God told them that it was there. He instructed them to march around the walls of this city for 7 days, 1 time a day, and 7 times on the last day, and shout, and the city would be theirs. This is a story of what it means to trust God and how God is faithful when we trust him and listen to him. So this week, I want you to go read in Joshua chapter 6.
Make sure you go and read about how the children of Israel conquered the city of Jericho this week. Well, again, this is our flashback episode where we're looking back at some of the best moments from the Tonight Show, from the quarantine period. And so let's take a moment and look back at some of the best moments from our interviews during this time. Watch this.
So, what about, like, has there been a scripture or anything on that's helped you to deal with the fear? Obviously, you have a relationship with God, you
Yeah.
believe in Him. So, has He helped you in any way dealing with the fear, or has there been any verses that during this time that God's just like spoken to your heart and that you could share maybe with students that are watching this right now that are dealing with those same things?
Yeah, I actually have one on my phone. So Philippians 4:6 says, "Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done." And I've heard that verse a couple times before, and I'm like, yeah, we should pray about everything. But it's easy to forget to pray when you're worrying about it.
Absolutely.
And a lot of my friends lately have been posting Bible verses and stuff, and that one came across on my Instagram feed. And I saw it, and I was like, wow, I've been, this whole time, I'm like, why is this happening? I'm so scared. I was so nervous. But I slowly began to pray God and not necessarily ask Him to change everything, but thanking Him for the good things He has given me. Because I think right now, the hard thing is remembering that this is temporary. God is with us, and there are still great things that are happening right now.
Absolutely. God still has this great plan for me and for not just me, but for you and for the rest of the world. And so, what was the scripture that you had?
All right, so I found it in Ephesians 1:11. Furthermore, because we are united with Christ, we have received an inheritance from God, for He has chosen us in advance, and He makes everything work out according to His plan.
So similar to what I'm saying there with the
Right.
verse from Jeremiah. So God's going to make everything work out according to His plan. And we know that He does have a plan for us, that it is a good plan. It's a plan not for disaster, it's for the future.
Exactly.
And it's a good one. And so I think that is incredible. So
at this time, though, Jordan, I think it's time for us to move on from the actual interview to Mike's Wheel of Misfortune. Do you remember it?
I remember it.
Okay, share it.
Okay, so it was about trust and how, like, not just like praying once or something like that, or having a good worship moment for like 30 minutes. Like sometimes, especially in a hard time like this, just doing that one time isn't enough. Trust can be a continual thing to renew your trust, because as humans, it's natural for us to kind of like fall out of that trust and once again get consumed in thoughts. So continual prayer, continual worship, continuing to trust God with that, it will help renew your spirit every day.
Yeah. Dude, I'm so glad we decided not to hold off on that and that it came back to you, because I think that was a huge part of it too. And just that surrender, looking for those things to be thankful for, looking for trust God, not just in this moment, but even in the next moment and the next day and the next day after that. I think it is as you hit it on the head, it's a process that I think we have to go through. And so, man, I think you need to work on that, maybe make it into a message and share it for everybody to hear it. Keep working on it. All right.
All right.
All right. Do it. Well, one of the things, Ayla, that I wanted to talk with you about is your family, because when I look at your family, I see you posting pictures of you and your mom all the time. And of course, your dad is one of our youth leaders, Paul, and I just think the world of him. He's a great man. But when I see your family, you guys seem to have a really good family dynamic, and I know that's not the situation in the case for some other students. And so there's some students right now that are literally stuck at home with their parents, and maybe their relationship with their parents is not in the place that yours is. And so with that, as you said, you guys are a big Christian family. I wanted to just kind of talk with you about that for a few more minutes, and really just kind of get your thoughts on that. And so I know, because you're a believer, that there's probably a scripture or something like that you have that you'd like to share about, honoring and obeying your parents or something like that. And so do you have a scripture real quick that you want to share about, as a child, honoring and obeying your parents or anything along those lines?
Yeah, I do. My favorite one is probably Colossians 3:20. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. I think that scripture just me, just because it's very straightforward. It's just like, obey your parents. This is what you need to do. Your parents are always they almost always have your best interest in mind. And even though something's unfair what they're telling you to do or how they're disciplining you, that you still need to listen to them, because they're older and wiser and have lived through all of this before. and they just understand that what they're doing is for your own good.
Right. For you guys. So Joe, real quick, anything else that you want to share as kind of an encouragement to any students or anybody that might be dealing with anything?
Not really. Just if you're having a hard time with this whole quarantine thing, just try to it's hard. Try to surround yourself with the people that will support you and people will give you good advice. Obviously, you kind of can't meet up with them and stuff, but just having good communication with them and the people that will actually, set you up in life instead of bring you down. That's a good thing to do.
That's awesome, Joe. I like that word right there. Now, let me ask you this. So you have this plan and, this kind of steps and everything like that. And you've walked with God for a long time through some ups and downs and times where you've, for better or worse, not been as close to God as you were at other times. But, going to that verse in Philippians chapter 1 and verse 6, where it's like, he started this good work in me and he's going to continue it, I think is huge. But would you say that your journey and your road has just been all smooth sailing with God? Or, okay, no, do you care to elaborate at all or anything like that? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but.
No. I obviously it was not God who made it difficult. It was me for the it was just me wanting to do my own thing. Like I wanted to do it Jaden's way and not God's way. And I guess I was following him and like I was at church and stuff like that, and I was, serving and I was doing all this, but then you can leave and go do completely different other things and then forget what you've learned or forget what you just preached about. I can leave that day and not remember like, oh, what did Mike say? Like it just leaves your mind. So, I mean, I think he has given me a road to go down. Sometimes I take, sometimes I go into the ditch, or sometimes I go, sometimes I take the hard left when I should take the right. But I know that
oncoming traffic.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do know that through all of it, it could be like a windy road and it's all these different things. But at the end, I still get back on and I can find my way back to the road and then keep going. And there is going to be some times that nobody's perfect. I understand that. There are going to be some times that I still drift off into wherever. Yeah. But I do know that I can always ask for forgiveness and always come back, and he's never going to judge me for anything. And so.
Well, there were so many good things shared during those interviews. We actually heard from several students letting us know through text about how they had been ministered to through those interviews. And so if you have not got an opportunity to share your story with us or shared with us about how those interviews ministered to you, please do that for us. We would absolutely love to hear about how this has ministered to you and about how each one of those interviews spoke to you during that season. Well, as many of you know, at the end of every episode of The Tonight Show, we do Mike's Wheel of Misfortune. And so let's look back now at all of the challenges from Mike's Wheel of Misfortune.
Oh, no! I'm scared.
I regret it.
Yes.
Oh. My ankles are growing. Oh my gosh, I don't want to do it! Okay, I'm doing it really quick. Okay. 1, 2. I don't want to do it. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
His What do you have to say, Seth?
Mike, this is the worst challenge of all time. I hate this, but I love you still. Thank you. I can taste the bones in that sardine and it's just ruined it.
What's up, CPS student family? I'm here to do the waxing challenge. It's we're gonna do 2 here. Ooh, Jesus Christ. That hurt.
Alright, I got it all mixed up for Mike.
That looks like straight up barf. Oh.
I'm not gonna make her drink the wine 'cause it is
Oh.
just bad. Go ahead, babe. Drink it up.
That looks like throw up.
It smells like throw up.
That doesn't help me right now.
Drink it up.
Oh. Whew, I'm already gagging.
I can't even smell it. Just knock it down.
Smell that.
No, I smell it.
Smell it.
I smell it.
Smell it.
Can you smell it?
Smell it, buddy.
Yeah.
There's chunks of stuff. Oh.
Just do it.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that flashback to Mike's Wheel of Misfortune. We know that so many of you enjoyed that segment of the show. And so what we're going to do this week is we're going to give you guys an opportunity to actually participate in Mike's Wheel of Misfortune. And so what we're going to do is we're going to challenge each one of you this week to complete one of those 4 challenges that you saw right there from Mike's Wheel of Misfortune, either the ice bath, the 150 burpees, push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, the mix it up challenge where you take 3 food items and mix them up and you have to eat them, or wax a body part. And what we're going to do, we've had so many of you ask for this coffee mug right here. And so the first 5 students that do one of those 4 challenges and send us the video of it, we're going to actually give you one of these Tonight Show with Mike Caple mugs for you to be able to have. And so we just want to say to all of you students again, thank you so much for watching. It's an honor and a privilege to be able just to do this with you and to be your student pastor for those of you that attend Cedar Point Church. We love you guys. Again, you're not in this alone. We are here for you. We hope you've enjoyed this flashback episode. We love you guys, and we will see you guys next week.